Good afternoon, PM Pat Chat, covering equity futures, crude futures, and metals futures. This is Bob Iacchino along with Mike Arnold as always. Before I turn it over to Mike, Dow and S&P posted their first back-to-back decline since January. That happened today. Biotech's down more than 1% on President Trump's direct attack on pharma. Basically didn't attack them. He just said he's going to negotiate lower prices. And biotech and pharma got hit pretty hard. Let me turn it over to Mike real quick because we got a lot to cover. Crude oil starting to weaken as well, and gold and silver reacting a little bit to the dollar, quite a bit to the dollar actually. So there's some other things in copper, but I'll speak to them at the end of this video. Mike, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. So let's do a quick update of a bunch of futures plus the Dow, since I mainly follow the cash on the Dow. So, still haven't pulled back to the breakout zone. The 8 EMA is holding firm. So this is a very key level. If we do break below yesterday's and today's lows, watch for a retest of 2851.33, which is the prior breakout zone. And if that's broken, or if we have some kind of big sell-off day, next key target is 2705. If we turn around and the 8 area holds and we rally, we're looking for pretty key resistance right around the 2100 mark. We have these GAN levels, and then if we substantially rally, our next levels are 21,144, which are key. Let's switch to the S&P futures, the E-mini futures. See here, we've broken back below the prior breakout zone, and we triggered below this trend line, tested the 8. We broke below that today. On a continued move lower, we have another rising trend line and support at 2357. Then we have another key support area about 2350, where we have the flattening 21 period exponential, and the next level below that is 2344. If we turn around and rally, watch for a retest of the 2375 level, which is going to be key. And then if we get through there, my next major level higher is 2384. Switching over to the Nasdaq. We have now closed below the bottom support line of this wedge. That would mean eventually we should see a bigger sell-off. If we continue lower in the Nasdaq, the next key levels for me are 5331, and then we have stuff down right about the 5302 to 5297, which is critical. Should we rally back up, pretty substantial resistance around 5382 to 5387, and then the next key level higher, should we break out to new highs, 5425. Finally, let's take a quick look at the Russell, because this is a little concerning. It's really breaking down. You can see how its prior breakout zone was right about 1386. It rallied up, it topped out, now it's sold off, and it's back below its prior breakout zone, right at the 50 period exponential moving average, and a key 62.5% GAN level. If we get down below that 62.5% GAN level, we're looking at this to potentially fall to 1363, then 1354.20, which is also comes in right about 1356.80 with an end of a clear path move, which would be the full target for that trend line break. So eventually it could go down to 1356 to 1354.20. That's not good. Many times it's a warning sign when small caps start breaking down earlier. So we're going to keep an eye on the Nasdaq, the Dow, and the S&P to see if they follow. Let me switch over to crude. Crude oil is sitting right at this key level, 52.76. You see how key this 50 period exponential moving average has been, and also the 52.65 GAN level. So we're really going to need to get a close below the 52.55 level. If we get that, we're looking at the next targets 52.17, then the end of a clear path move and another key GAN level right around 51.69. So that's what we're looking to downside. We've had a lot of resistance overhead, but if we do rally and this trend line does hold, watch for first a retest of 53.14, then a retest of 53.61, and then right around the 53.80 with the declining trend line area. That's our update for crude. Finally, let's get over to some metals. Copper really broken down. You can see yesterday it closed right at the end of a clear path move, slightly below 12.5% Gann level. Today we retested the lows in a key defining point, broke through there, and went immediately to our key significant level, which is virtually where it closed, right around 261. Below that, you have a fair amount of support right around this level. You can see the prior areas. If we go lower, my next targets for this is 258.86, and then on a substantial move lower, right around to 255.72 to 254.18. Should we turn around and rally back up tomorrow, watch for resistance around 264.36, and then back to this clear path move and Gann level about 265.58. Over to gold. Gold also below a key defining point on a trend line and broke below this prior breakout zone. Should we continue lower, 12.20 is the next key level, and then below that we are really into an advanced clear path move, so we're looking for 12.04 and then an eventual full target of about 11.91. Should we turn around and rally to retest this trend line? I'm watching for a retest of the defining point at 12.22, and then we should have substantial resistance at 12.29 to 12.32. Finally, over to silver. Silver also broke below this trend line and a prior swing low at about 1766. We also went below the 50-day exponential moving average. Next target's down, 1746 to 1748 level, end of a clear path and a Gann level. Then the next target is the prior breakout zone right about 1726, and below that 1710, another Gann level. Should we rally back up, watch for a retest of 1766, key low right here, and then on a further rally we have the trend line resistance and the 1782.40. That's all I have for you right now. Back to you, Bob.
Thank you, Michael. I said I'd have more to say about copper. There are a couple of new strikes to talk about in Peru, one in the Las Palmas mine, which is ongoing, and then one in the Cerro Verde mine. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but the Cerro Verde mine, which also may interrupt supply. Cerro Verde is not an ongoing strike at this point, but Las Palmas is. That combines with the Escondida strike, which now there's violence in that one, so there's no end in sight, as well as the issues that Freeport-McMoRan is having in their Grasberg mine in Indonesia, not being able to get export permits. But yet copper still fell because China lowered their growth forecast. So China they account for 40% of the global copper purchases. So if they're cutting their growth forecast, they're also cutting their copper consumption. Also, with the dollar strengthening, copper has to get cheaper because it becomes harder for foreign entities to purchase copper as the dollar strengthens. Check out our podcast, the Money Path Podcast. You can find it on iTunes or Google Play. Follow us on Twitter if you'd like, path_trading. And like this video and subscribe if you find these videos useful. Thanks, guys. We'll talk to you soon.